Hey everyone, Livy here, back with another video, and today we are doing a very special unboxing and flip through of the Magic Pantry Tarot. This, as you can see, is the guidebook, but this is Magic Pantry Tarot. This is by Cedar McLeod. They are a creator in the tarot space who has made the Numinous Spirit Tarot. A couple of oracle decks too, like the Threadbound Oracle. I know there's another one in there also. And they are also an indie author, so they have published some books. This deck in particular is a Kickstarter deck, and the reason why I was interested in getting a hold of this one is because if you can't tell by the illustrations, this is a tarot deck revolving around food. And it has just the right artwork for me that I was very interested in getting a hold of it. So this is the Kickstarter. Now, I don't remember if this is automatic or not, but I did, I think, either get this as a freebie or I added on this bag for the deck, which is cute. It's a little gingham. There's a sticker in here. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be this way probably. As you can see, it has a guidebook separate, which is good. But I did hear, or actually it's on here, this is like a little thank you card. There is a download of the PDF guidebook, newsletter stuff, and all of that. So, yeah. I'm very excited to get into this one. I love food. I love cooking. I'm very excited. This is what the box looks like, and as it says here, it says a tarot deck themed around food for the home cook and anyone who loves to eat. Food is a powerful force in our world as a necessity for life and a major part of culture and community. The Magic Pantry Tarot combines Cedar McLeod's personal experience as a home cook with their signature brightly hued watercolor paintings and thoughtful multicultural approach to tarot symbolism. And as it says here, this is vegan, vegetarian friendly, as well as containing no depictions of alcohol. Interesting that that's like included, but I guess that's also, again, trying to keep mindful. As you can see, there is a little bit of plastic on it. I don't think my nails, yeah, no, they're not long enough. So give me 1 second as I get this open. But yeah, I'm very excited about this one. I follow Cedar McLeod on Instagram, so I was aware of the process of making this deck. I think it was originally going to be an oracle, actually, but then that didn't quite work out, so they made it into a tarot deck. And yeah, and this is the same card. This must be one of the aces, but I don't know which. I guess we are going to find out. So before I open up this, let's actually take a look a little closer at this guidebook. So, it gives a little intro about them. They do mention that they are autistic. They do have IBS and GERD. And so that also gives you a very interesting perspective into food. But it's still the joy of food nonetheless. It gives you tarot basics, how to read tarot, tarot structure, how to do a reading. So this is like if someone's a beginner, shuffling, questions and intent, laying out the cards, and then interpreting. In this, they also have some spreads, it looks like. They have a produce, protein, starch spread, a meal spread, and set the table spread. So very fun, things that are food themed. Then it gets into each of the cards. Now it looks like, oh, how fun. They make it in a shape of like they have ingredients and then instructions. And this is what I found interesting. This deck does have a couple of these, but the Fool and the, I think at least one other card maybe has two versions depending on if you, I guess, are vegan or vegetarian. There's eggs and tofu. So we're going to see. But yeah, it looks like there's enough about each of the cards. What I'm curious to see, I always check this, if this carries over into minors. And it looks like it does. Still has ingredients, instructions, and they're pretty... Oh, but that's interesting. Why is the 4 with the 8? Oh, no, never mind. That's the 5. Sorry. I did not read the font correctly. Yeah, so it still looks like it's the same. And then, yeah, it goes into everything. Important links and all that. Very cool. Very cool. I like this. So that's the guidebook. we're going to get into the deck now since it's almost 5 minutes into this video. But this is the tuck box it comes in. We'll see how easy this is to pull out. I have like 50-50 luck with tuck boxes. Okay, no, this one was pretty easy. Okay, what I'm most curious though to see is how this cardstock is, because sometimes I'm wary with new decks, like figuring out what cardstock they're going to be, if it's going to feel okay in the hands or not. So this is the first edition. It says the digital guidebook there. Cardstock. If this is for, yeah, it's the same for the whole deck. As you can see, it has a slight gloss, but it's not high gloss. It's just like that because I'm putting it towards the sun. Has a good bend, so it should be easy for people who riffle shuffle. I do not, but it has a good bend. It bounces back. And this cardstock feels nice, so I'm okay. I'm okay with this. The reason why I say that, and by the way, I'm so sorry if you can hear my washer and dryer in the background. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, so the noise just is what it is, and I just try to talk over it. But the reason why, sorry, that I was a little bit wary about the cardstock is that I do have this creator's thread-bound Oracle, and I'm not a fan of the papery feel of that cardstock in general, so I was curious to see what they were going to do with this cardstock, but this feels nice, so this should be good. And these are the backs. It's just like, you know, the picnic table kind of look, which is very cute, matches the rest of the ensemble. But let's get into the cards now. Very beautiful artwork. I was very excited about this. I know there's another deck that kind of came out more recently with the same kind of ideal on Kickstarter in particular. It was, I think it's called the Gourmet Tarot, and it's like anime drawn, kind of like fancy anime drawn. And I saw that deck, but I don't know, something about the artwork like that I just wasn't as much of a fan of as this. So I'm very excited about this one, but we're gonna get into it. This is our first Fool. It is showing the eggs Fool, and the artwork is beautiful. I might try to, let me see if I can zoom in just, yeah, just a little for you guys. So you guys can see it, yeah. So this is the Fool, the first Fool. And then this is the second Fool, so this is Tofu. And see, they're drawn pretty much to be the same. So this is kind of like the idea of if you want to take one or the other out. I kind of like both of these though. I like both Tofu and the Fool. It's very interesting that these two are the first, but I'll put that there. Ooh, interesting. The Magician is beans. I guess that makes sense. You can turn beans every which way. I love the artwork too. I love the color usage. So this is the Magician, which is beans. This is cute. The High Priestess is condiments. Shows a few varietals. Very cute, very cute. Interesting. I don't know if I would have gone with this choice for the Empress, but the Empress is vanilla. Wow. Oh, okay. I see why now. Because they were made to pair together. Interesting. Okay, so the Empress is vanilla. And the Emperor is chocolate. Oof, I do love chocolate, though, more than vanilla. Sorry, not sorry. Don't know. Okay. Anyways, moving on. We have the Hierophant, which is meat and meat substitutes. That's very interesting. Especially because the Hierophant is more traditional in value. It's interesting that they would have, like, meat substitutes in there, but that's cute. Okay. Then we have the Lovers, which are sweeteners. So I love that it has sugar, maple syrup, stevia. I would have thought agave would also be in here. I know, and honey. I know a lot of people like those, but they might be separate things. So who knows? Guess we'll find out. The Chariot, we have coffee. It still has some of the like traditional symbolism, so that's fun. And then, of course, these coffee carriers can be very precarious sometimes. We have Strength, which is nuts. I guess that makes sense. It takes a lot of strength to crack a nut. We have the Hermit, which is tea. Very beautiful. Ah, my fave. The Wheel of Fortune is dairy and dairy substitutes. Really interesting. That includes fruit. It shows the seasons, even the cheese stages, different types of cheeses. I love the look of this. Interesting. Justice is oil. Would I have thought to put that? I'm not sure. We have the Hanged One, which is broth. Interesting. But that does make sense when you think about cooking. Broths are all about like putting a lot of things into it so that they can change. Interesting. Ah, giving new life, death, ferments, and pickles. This makes sense. Oh my goodness, with the cobwebs and stuff and the spider. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Okay, we have temperance, which is water. This makes sense. Typical temperance. Oh, I love these. Now, see, I find it interesting that the devil is mushrooms, because the devil could have also been the death card. You see what I'm saying? That's so interesting, but I love I love it. I love that they're in shapes of skulls. That's so cute. Ooh, and the tower is hot sauce, because sometimes it can be enough, but sometimes it can ruin everything. Depends on, it's like moderation, right? That's funny. Ooh, the star is a spoon. That's interesting. I would have thought it would be whatever is in the spoon, but interesting, interesting. Oh, okay, so it's doing like, yep, it's doing like all the tradition. Interesting. So we have the spoon, the moon is a knife, you know, to cut things. And then the sun is a fork. Interesting. It still has a lot of the, again, it has a lot of the traditional archetypes of tarot. So if you were wondering about that, that is in here. At least of Rider-Waite-Smith, I mean. Okay. We have Judgment, which is the stove. That also makes sense. Like, look at all these pots. Every burner is being used. Eventually, something's going to come up. That might be not so great. Oh, and I love this. The world is the full meal. And look at this meal. This looks so good. Oh my goodness. I like this. I like that it has everything that you could ever think to have in a nice meal. That's really good. I'm obsessed with the colors of this. I love Cedar McLeod's artwork in like how saturated the colors become. So this is like great for me. So, okay, so now we know this is an ace, of course, but the Ace of Cups is a strawberry. Interesting. I wonder, no, it doesn't look like, well, this one has cups, but not all these are, I guess, are going to have the actual symbols on them, but they do retain the names, just so you know. So Ace of Cups, we have a strawberry here. And the Two of Cups is a pear. Ah, a pair together. I meant, haha, that makes sense. Okay. Do like that. The Three of Cups is peach. This looks like specifically like a peach tea. Friends hanging out. Oh, I love this. The Four of Cups is a lime, but specifically like lime popsicles on like your popsicle spilling and just feeling some type of way. Summertime sadness. I don't know why I get those vibes from this, but that's what this is giving me. Oh, and the Five of Cups is lemons. When life gives you lemons, but this case, the cup, the pitcher is shattered. Oh, dang. But it's so beautiful. Six of Cups are plums. This is beautiful, actually. The way that the plums were drawn to get those, like, very particular colors that sometimes the plums can have. This is very beautiful. And what's funny for me, actually, I don't know if anybody else has this feeling. I'm so curious to see what the guidebook says about this. But the Six of Cups being a plum does make sense to me. A lot of my childhood in particular were wrapped around plums. We used to have a plum tree in my, well, I think I still do, but we have a plum tree in my family's backyard. And my dad used to make a lot of plum jam and stuff out of this, so this actually does make sense to me. Okay, we have the Seven of Cups, which is grape, and this is true. How do you pick your varietal, right? There's so many different ways you can have a grape. You can have actual grapes, you could have juice, you could have jelly, you could have more different type of juice, vinegars, raisins, grapeseed oil. This makes sense. Interesting. And I would have thought that the Empress would have gone to pomegranate, but it's interesting that the Eight of Cups here is the pomegranate. But this does make sense in some ways because it's about leaving your old life behind and transforming into something new. And pomegranates can be transformative in that way. So that is very fascinating. We have the Nine of Cups, which are blueberry. Beautiful. And the Ten of Cups is orange. Oh. I do kind of like that all the citrus fruits, at least the main ones we think of, lime, lemon, and orange, all showed up here. Then we have Page of Cups, which is apple. Interesting. The look of this almost makes me feel like this should have been the Page of Pentacles instead, but since all these are fruits, I'm assuming they just kept with the theme. But Page of Cups being the apple. Ooh, I love this. I love cherries. Knight of Cups is cherry. This makes sense. Queen of Cups is mango. Interesting. See, again, this is something I thought would have been more applicable to the Queen of Fire. Like the Queen of Wands, I mean. That mango and her would have made a lot more sense to me. But I do like mangoes. And then interesting, the King of Cups is dragon fruit. Wow. Very cool, very cool. Okay, we are now on to the Pentacles. And if I'm looking, yep, okay. If I was looking at this correctly, the Pentacles are all grains, and this makes sense to a degree. I almost would have thought the Pentacles would have been vegetables, but I guess we're going to see what we get here with the rest of the cards. The Ace of Pentacles is rice. I love rice. Two of Pentacles is quinoa. Interesting, a juggling act. I feel like that is the thing with quinoa. I don't cook with it, to be honest, very much. My dad used to try sometimes, but quinoa can be very hit or miss. You just got to get the right texture. So I think that makes sense for this card. Interesting. The Three of Pentacles is cassava. Huh. It does have some of the old imagery though, too. That's cool. Ooh, okay. And the Four of Pentacles is a potato. Interesting, but this, I feel like this does, again, make some sense. They are underground. They take their time to grow. You wouldn't know. Five of Pentacles is millet. Interesting. Beautifully done, though. Six of Pentacles is barley. Seven of Pentacles is oats. Eight of Pentacles is corn. This makes a lot of sense. I know it takes a lot of work to grind this up to make masa, to make tortillas, to make whatever you need. This makes a lot of sense to me. The Nine of Pentacles is amaranth. Interesting. I don't really work with this, but it does have the imagery of the bird, so it's not like it's completely hard for you to figure out. If you know Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, at least. And Ten of Pentacles is wheat. Wow. It does have a long legacy, so this actually makes sense. I love the stained glass look in the background of this too, though. Interesting. Page of Pentacles is bread. This actually makes sense because to make bread, I feel like you have to put a lot of work and practice in, and I feel like that's what the Page of Pentacles is all about, studying, practicing. This makes more sense now. Interesting. And then the Knight of Pentacles is noodles. Also takes a lot of work and patience. Queen of Pentacles is pastry, pies, being a caregiver, warmth. This makes a lot of sense. And the Knight of Pentacles being cake, supreme. Cake is delicious. Celebratory. Very cool, very nice. I do like this. Okay. Sorry, something's been going on in my throat. Anyways, we are now getting towards the last two suits in the deck. We have Ace of Swords is radish. So it looks like, yep. So the swords are actually the vegetables here. So Ace of Swords, we have a radish. Two of Swords is asparagus. They're crossed. That's funny. Three of Swords are beads. Interesting way to get to them imagery. It looks like, they do look like little hearts in some ways. And beets are one of those things that you either like them or you hate them. I feel like, because they're very earthy, and if you don't cook them correctly or pickle it slightly or do something, it's just not a fun flavor for a lot of people. So this makes a lot of sense to me. Four of Swords is celery. Interesting. Resting on a cutting board. Five of Swords is tomatoes, though. Oh my goodness. I love these, though. They're heirlooms, it looks like, but they've been all smashed up. Some kind of food fight. We have the Six of Swords, which are peas. I see, because they make it look like the boat, you know, moving on. Huh. We have Seven of Swords, which is spinach. Ah, the trickery of spinach. This makes a lot of sense. You have so much, but then you cook it down and, like, it turns into nothing. That's so hilarious. That makes sense. Ooh, interesting. Eight of Swords being squash, but particularly this squash, of course, has been like all crossed over, it's stuck. That could happen, I guess. Their vines grow pretty big. This looks like a butternut. I love butternut squash. The Nine of Swords is carrot, though. I would have not thought of carrot for anxiety inducing, but really interesting. And the Ten of Swords is the onion, which makes sense. They make you cry a lot. And also, if you are someone like me, I guess like Cedar, who probably has issues, you know, again, with IBS and certain things, you are supposed to reduce your onion intake. So that causes a lot of heartache. And so, yeah, I understand this card. Okay, we have the Page of Swords now, which is a cucumber. Interesting. Ah, this makes some sense. The Knight of Swords is an artichoke, and they are pretty prickly. Oh my goodness, my kitty is crying. Mocha, you need to wait. Okay, and then the Queen of Swords is a cabbage. Interesting. I love the art, the colors in the background now. And then King of Swords is a pumpkin, specifically a pumpkin that is already a jack-o'-lantern. Wow. And finally, we are getting into the final suit here. We have the wands, and yep, it looks like all the wands are going to be herbs and spices, which I guess is also a choice. Like, that's something that could be said for wands. So we have the Ace of Wands here, which is cinnamon. We have the Two of Wands being mint. We have the Three of Wands, which is nutmeg. This makes sense. People at one point in time searched all over the world for nutmeg. That's why you also see the ship's journey aspect. People really traveled for this. And this used to be the spice and stuff that made the world go around at one point in time. Funny how that works. We have the Four of Wands, which is basil. I like this. It's very harmonious. Basil's good. We have the Five of Wands, which is cilantro. It's funny, this person's like putting it up. Cilantro could be very conflicting for some people. I love cilantro, but my sister literally has the gene that makes cilantro taste like soap to her. So for some people, they're just not a fan. Six of Wands is saffron. This makes some sense, victory, but it's also very pricey of an ingredient, but I love saffron. We use it quite a bit in Portuguese cuisine. Seven of Wands is ginger. This kind of makes sense too. Standing your ground, letting yourself grow despite being kind of pungent sometimes. Eight of Wands being time, though, I find very interesting. Maybe it grows quickly? I don't know. Nine of Wands being rosemary, though. Huh. I don't know if I would have... I mean, I guess it perseveres despite everything. Rosemary is one of those things. We used to also have a rosemary bush in our backyard. Luckily, we don't anymore. But that rosemary bush used to be so freaking strong. If you even just accidentally brushed up against it, you just smelled like rosemary the rest of the day. Mocha, you really need to wait. Okay, I'm almost done here. Okay. Ten of Wands is garlic. Do not cross. Again, also makes sense. I love garlic, but if you have bowel issues, yeah, this is not a fun time. But I'm still obsessed with garlic. We have the Page of Wands, which is turmeric. This makes sense too, a spark, something warmth, earthy. Knight of Wands is cayenne. That also makes sense. Mocha, you need to wait. Queen of Wands is salt. Interesting. I don't know if I would have put salt as the Queen of Wands, but this makes sense. Salty and sassy. And the King of Wands is pepper. This makes sense too. Wow. Okay, so that was the deck. Wow, wow, wow. This deck is an okay size. I have small hands. I can barely, not really my thumb, but like the rest of my fingers can make it around it, so that's okay. But because of the cardstock, this is a very easy shuffle. The gloss, it's the slightest of gloss. It doesn't feel bad. It's very nice in the hand. And so it moves so nicely. Again, I only do overhand shuffling, so if you are somebody who is a riffle shuffler, though, I do not foresee you having problems with this cardstock. This is good. I like it. Okay, I'm just going to do a random poll and see what we get here. Maybe pair with the guidebook, but if my cat cries again, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to attend to her because she's just being a crybaby today. I don't know. Okay. Pull 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Three of Swords, the Hermit, and the Hanged One. Wow. This is beautiful, though. I love the way they look next to each other. I like that they're borderless. I like that it's very saturated. I think it was the right move with this deck. Because it really highlights everything. And the images are pretty big, so you can still see a lot going on. I am curious to see what's written a little bit in the guidebook about this Three of Swords, though. So let me see if I can find it. Okay. Okay, so it says ingredients is heartbreak, betrayal, pain, and grief. See, I knew this too. A beet sometimes resembles a heart. And just talks about heartbreak a little bit. Oh, sometimes heartbreak comes with a side of betrayal. Like Lady Macbeth, their hands may be stained red with guilt or beet juice. Oh, okay, so I knew it probably went with the beet being bloody illusion. I want to see if there was anything else beet related. This one doesn't really. Okay, number 4 says, grief is a form of love. It shows us who and what we care deeply about, even in complicated situations with conflicting emotions. Grief can be hard and long-lasting, like a beet kept over winter in a cool cellar. Who or what are you grieving right now, or at another time relevant to this reading? So it does loop some of the food stuff into it, as well as putting the traditional meaning. So that works for me. I like this. Because my cat is crying so much, I am going to have to head out. But I will leave you with these 3 cards. And if you are watching, thank you so much for watching. And I will see you again next time. Bye.